for Talking Legal. With me now is Pete Williams, NBC's News Justice correspondent, and Robert Tsai, a constitutional law expert and a law professor at American University. Good to see you both. All right, Mr. Williams, this lawsuit was tossed out not on the merits, but on standing.
Right. They said they don't have a good case here for this reason. The Emoluments Clause says a president can't take benefits, gifts, cash from either state governments or foreign governments. And the claim of D.C. and Maryland was that when these officials stay at the hotel, this benefits the president. That's an emolument. And it hurts them because it takes business away from their convention centers. What the three-judge panel of the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals said today is, number one, you can't prove that the reason people stay at the hotel is to curry favor with the president. And even if you could prove it, how would we fix that? Even if we say as a court the president can't get any money from this hotel, people might still stay there and take business away from you because it is the Trump Hotel. They know it benefits his family. They know he would like it. So for two reasons, they say you don't have any legal reason to bring this case.
Robert, what did you make of the constitutional argument?
Well, I'm not surprised. The moment that these particular judges were drawn, I think there was a collective groan heard across the Potomac.
Oh, really? They didn't like the draw they got?
These are about the three most conservative judges that the plaintiffs could have possibly drawn, and I think that this is reflected in the oral argument. So I'm not completely surprised they lost. There is a section in the opinion talking about how the judges found it speculative in terms of the plaintiff's injuries. And I think this is sort of remarkable because in this section of the opinion, I think this is the part that will probably get a little bit more attention. They sort of said, you know, we don't really know why people go and stay at the Trump Hotel, right? Especially these foreign governments. Maybe they're overpaying because it's a lovely place to stay.
It's a nice location. Good views.
I mean, they really got to have their heads in the sand to not see how many hundreds of thousands of dollars, for example, the Saudis have dropped there.
Pete, what happens next? This is not the only emoluments-based lawsuit, but are we starting to learn that the judiciary, they're like, we're not touching emoluments?
Well, first of all, this is no man's land because we've never been in this position before where a president has these sorts of business arrangements. So the Emoluments Clause has never gotten much of a workout. The Supreme Court has never defined.
By the way, we've got to be impressed with the founders that they had it in there. They did almost think of everything in this Constitution.
It sure looks
to their credit.
But this is one that's a sort of a dusty corner of the Constitution that the Supreme Court has never said what it means. As in a short term, the attorneys general of Maryland and D.C. say they will appeal. Not clear whether they'll go to the full.
Appeal?
Well, they can either go to the full. This is, remember, a three-judge panel. They can go to the full Court of Appeals, or they can go to the Supreme Court.
But they're stuck in the fourth if they go to the full Court of Appeals, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Why aren't they in the D.C. Circuit?
Because the suit was filed in Maryland. And you know, they just thought I don't know why, whether they thought they would do better there or what, but that's an option there. And then, of course, there are other Emoluments Clause cases pending. There's one filed by members of Congress who make a different claim. They're not worried about taking business away. They say the Constitution says the president can't take an emolument without permission of Congress, and he's not asking our permission. And then there are other cases like the one filed by Crew that was tossed out that are on appeal as well. But the record so far on these cases is that they have not flown well.
Robert, you and I have had this. I brought you in before to explain the emoluments case a few times, and I did struggle to see how D.C. had standing. I kind of understood Maryland with the state tax dollars. To me, it's still Marriott, or a major hotel chain. I say Marriott because they're headquartered, in the area. And they have a lot of properties. They could make a case that this is hurting their business.
Yeah, if you accept the theory, what they call the competition theory of injury, right? That
which these judges said you couldn't prove.
Yeah, so they don't really embrace the theory. They just sort of say that even if we did, we don't see enough of a factual predicate for that sort of injury here. And again, what they say is that we think it's too speculative. But that's how you would go forward with that sort of argument.
Pete, I mean, this goes back to how would Congress be able to figure out if he's taking an emolument or not? I mean, he says he's any foreign profit they've been returning to the president.
First of all, it's no secret about the relationship with the Trump Hotel.
Goes really well.
So they know about that one. But I think what the founders were worried about here is that the French would be back channeling Thomas Jefferson some coin to get a good deal on some treaty or something like that. That's what they were worried about. and they wanted presidents to get congressional approval before they did this sort of thing. But with the Trump business, I mean, that's one of the problems here. By the way, the attorneys general in this case were sort of hoping that when they got to discovery, that they would be able to get Trump's tax return. So that's obviously not going to happen.
You think discovery? You think these other emoluments suits are going to head to the same dustbin as the one from D.C.?
Well, the first thing that the government lawyers are going to do is they're going to take this Fourth Circuit opinion and they're going to run over the D.C. Circuit and the Second Circuit, and they're going to demand that the appellate judges put a stop to any discovery on the basis of the Fourth Circuit decision.
I think that is the magic word here, isn't it? It's all about preventing discovery,
Exactly.
which we know in many cases is what Trump fights the hardest. Robert Tsai, good to see you. Pete Williams, thank
Pleasure,
you, my friend. Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Beat the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.